Hello everyone! Now you will hear a brief summary of the movie Fantastic Four, Scoșiga Sex Sisish Astiera Secute. Enjoy watching! Standing at the board during class, Reed Richards said that he was making a teleport in his garage. Classmates and the teacher laughed at him, only Ben took the boy's words seriously. Ben lives near a car junkyard. He noticed barking dogs. Reed was rummaging through one of the cars. He was looking for a transformer for his invention. Ben decided to help the industrious schoolboy. They dragged the transformer into Reed's garage. Everything around was filled with ingenious devices. Reed started a program on the computer and took a remote in his hands. The teleporter on the table started working. A toy car was in the energy field that was cut. The whole house shook as if there was an earthquake. The device could explode at any moment, but suddenly it sparked and quieted, and the area lost electricity. Instead of the toy car, there was a pile of stones on the table that had teleported from where the toy went. 7 years have passed since that day. During all this time, Ben has been helping Reed work on the teleporter. Today they brought it to school to participate in a science competition. Reed took the set Tiki took the toy plane from the boy, and a few seconds later, it vanished without a trace in front of everyone. Now they have to bring it back, but instead, a powerful impulse broke the basketball backboard. The plane did come back though, and sprinkled with sand of unknown origin. However, the principal disqualified the friends. Allegedly, they are performing tricks while it's supposed to be a scientific event, but the students shouldn't be upset. The invention caught the interest of Dr. Storm, who conducts research in the science field. The scientists suggest that objects are sent not to another part of the planet, but to another dimension. Reed, after finishing school, received a scholarship and moved to Baxter Institute. Sue, Dr. Storm's adopted daughter, also studies here. Reed tries to befriend the reclusive girl. Dr. Storm's project faces the risk of losing funding. The only one who can help him move forward is Victor Fontaine, a genius and a recluse with a very bad temper. He was the one who created the Quantum Gate project but left it because he didn't want to dance to the government's tune. However, Dr. Storm managed to persuade him to return. Then in the garage, Reed almost created a black hole and nearly destroyed the planet. The scientists repeated his experiment and got footage from another dimension. They hope that new energy sources from there will help save Earth. Dr. Storm is planning to build a device to send organic matter to this dimension and bring it back. The scientists themselves will be this matter. Dr. Storm also has a son named Johnny. He is a daredevil and loves street racing. During one of these races, Johnny had an accident and broke his arm. He has a bad relationship with his father because he is not a genius like Susan. Nevertheless, he will have to work with his dad to pay for the car repair. Moreover, Johnny is handy and resourceful. He can build anything. The construction of the teleporter is in full swing. The process is led by Reed and Victor, and they both like Susan. Reed sent photos of the device to Ben, who continued living his dull life. Victor is jealous of the young genius towards Susan. He even accused the guy of behaving unprofessionally. Meanwhile, the giant teleporter was ready. Dr. Allen arrived at the institute. He works for the government and will right now observe a chimpanzee being sent to another dimension. The laboratory was illuminated by a bright flash and the creature disappeared. The scientists received an image from the other side. The monkey is alive, but its body temperature and heart rate are increasing. It's time to bring the test animal back. And once again, success. The monkey in the capsule is alive and well, but the inventors didn't celebrate for long. Dr. Allen informed them that NASA will now join the project and take control, as experiments on humans are no joke. This is exactly what Victor Von Doom feared. He doesn't want to die in obscurity while others gain fame from his discovery. Colleagues had a drink and decided that they should be the first to travel to another dimension. Reed called Ben and invited him to go with them since he was also involved in the development from the beginning. The team members put on special spacesuits and settled into the chambers. Sue saw that the quantum gates were activated and immediately called her father. Reed hopes they don't explode, but but the device only shook slightly. The pioneers even thought that nothing had happened, but when the chambers opened, they realized they were on some unknown planets. Ben took out the American flag to plant it in the ground. However, this led to a fissure. Under the ground is a lava-like green substance. The team stood at the edge of the cliff. Johnny refused to go further. The others began to descend from the cliff. They approached the place where the unusual matter was concentrated. Victor, as if hypnotized, put his hand into it. Suddenly, the substance started bursting through the soil like a geyser. The scientists are trying to escape. They climbed back onto the rock, but Victor slipped and dangled on the rope. He was splashed with the green matter, causing him to fall and land in the sample. They managed to close themselves in cabins at the very last moment, but they can't go back. They were lucky that Susan was already at the computer. Ben's door opened, and he was buried by rocks while Johnny started burning alive. Finally, they returned to the laboratory. This time, the whole city was left in darkness. Reed came to and saw Johnny's body engulfed in flames. The scientist's leg was stuck under the debris of the teleporter, but he still crawled forward to save Ben. Only now did Reed notice that his leg stretched like rubber, and immediately lost consciousness. The guy woke up already in the secret zone 57. His arms and legs had an unnatural length. Dr. Storm was allowed to look at his daughter. The girl appears and disappears. She is unable to control her invisibility. In the next room, Johnny Storm was still burning. The guy regained consciousness, panicked, and caused an explosion. Through the ventilation, Reed heard his friend scream. He managed to pull his long arm towards himself and then freed himself from the straps. The scientist crawled through the narrow ventilation until he found the room with Ben, but instead of a human, he saw a talking pile of rocks. Ben pleaded for help, but Reed had to run. The military had already set out to find him. Dr. Allen is in a panic. These guys now have superpowers, so they are of incredible value to the government. Reed must be found. Allen convinced Ben that his friend abandoned him, but the government will help him. In return, he will have to do something for them. A year has passed since then. The thing has been used in military operations, and he has never failed. A special suit was developed for the Human Torch to help Johnny control his abilities. Sue's suit helps make objects invisible and create force fields. They gained their abilities on the so-called planet Noi. Dr. Allen is convinced that there are unlimited opportunities for developing military potential. People from the Ministry of Defense saw how Johnny caught up with and destroyed a drone. He learned to fly and can cover 2,000 meters in 6 seconds. Thanks to the force field, Sue can briefly hover in the air. She doesn't like the military using them as weapons. Unlike her brother, she hopes to someday get rid of the acquired powers. Ben has hardened over the past year. He is always kept locked up. Dr. Storm still cannot complete the second quantum gate. His son is about to be sent on a combat mission for the first time. The only way to prevent this is to find Reed. He will help finish the gate, and then they can find a way to heal. The special services have been hunting for Reed for a year, but the fugitive manages to escape each time. Sue has taken on the task. She will attempt to understand Reed's action algorithm. The guy finds it so easy to hide because he can give his rubber face any shape. All this time, Reed has been working on developments that will help restore his friend to his former appearance. Susan was able to determine Ben's location. A stone monster will be sent to capture him. The security system worked. Reed realized that he had been traced and ran through the forest. The guy was surrounded by soldiers, but thanks to his superpowers, he easily dodges bullets and confronts the unwelcome guests. But then Ben parachuted down to him. He is upset with his friend, so he didn't even bother to listen to him and knocked him out with a headbutt. On the plane, Ben admitted that he constantly feels pain, but he has already gotten used to it. His friend promised that he would fix everything. A year later, Reed was returned to Zone 57. His friends betrayed him, but they had no other choice. They must restore the gate. Reed was shown the new quantum gates. He immediately sat down to correct the incorrect source code. Johnny is not at all against becoming a weapon in the hands of the government. He is not planning to return to his former life. The trial teleportation at the new station took place without the participation of our heroes. It was evening. Victor, he is alive, but looks very exhausted. Alan ordered the scientist to be brought back to Earth. Victor was carried out of the device on a stretcher. The man changed beyond recognition. His spacesuit melted and fused with his body. The same green substance glows from the cracks. Dr. Allen approached to talk to him. He wants to learn as much as possible about that place. Victor confessed that the planet gave him incredible power and people should not possess it. Is it not enough for you to destroy your world? Now you want to destroy mine? Victor is going to destroy Earth if it allows his new world to survive. The scientist started with Alan, heating him up and blowing him up right inside his protective suit. Victor broke through the wall and walked through the corridors of the secret facility, killing everyone in his path. Victor created a force field that protects him from bullets. In an instant, he killed about 10 soldiers. Other superhumans left their chambers. Johnny threw a fireball, but missed and almost burned his sister. Victor is about to return home, but Dr. Storm blocked his path. We are not gods, Victor. Victor killed the scientist in front of his children. The Valen doesn't allow former colleagues to even get close to him. He teleported back to his planet. Johnny also tried to jump into the device, but it threw him aside. Mondi Silsiu, Victor is overloading the system. This will lead to the creation of a black hole and the destruction of Earth. The process has already started. The planet is being pulled into another dimension. And our heroes were the first to get there. Passing through the gate, everything is ground up and turned into energy. Johnny pushed the force bubble with his friends, and thus saved their lives. Only this foursome can stop Victor, but individually, they can do nothing. Johnny was knocked out, and Ben was bound by rocks. Susan also couldn't get to him. Victor is absorbing the forest, rocks, and people with their machines. Doom, as Victor calls himself, pinned Reed to the ground. And Susan, he is going to crush with their own force field. Reed strained and managed to stand up. He attacked Doom, and Doom fell from a great height. The planet gives strength not only to him, but also to the other superhumans. Ben started throwing fireballs at Doom and Ben boulders. Reed decided to just beat him with his fists, but quickly lost the fight. However, it was a trick. Sue made the creature invisible, and it sent Doom flying into the beam he created with a powerful strike. Johnny shattered the rock supporting the energy field, and it annihilated Victor Von Doom. The four managed to return to Earth through the closing portal at the very last moment. They saw a huge crater. That piece of the planet Doom still managed to destroy. The military offered the four to continue cooperation, but the heroes refused. They planned to act independently. However, the government will allocate them a giant scientific center. Reed suggested coming up with some name for their team. That's what everyone started calling them. The Human Torch and his little torches.